is you. It's talking less is the problem. All right, very good. All righty.
Goodness.
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
So, let's start from my first question. How it's even possible to tell the people what happened to you here?
Not possible. It's just not.
I mean, maybe we just laugh for the whole hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I first came here in November, right, it was for 2 or 3 ceremonies.
Yeah.
I did a couple of Huachumas and an ayahuasca back to back to back.
Yeah, 1 week.
And that person, compared to this person that I am today, it's almost unrecognizable. You know? There's so much that I was carrying and putting energy into, trauma, fear, anger, rage, that I've been able to release since I've been here. And so the person that I am today is completely different.
Just want to make sure it's recording.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk for an hour and they're like,
It's like, no, we didn't get anything.
It's so frustrating, you know.
Yeah.
So, okay, so maybe we just introduce yourself, like, tell your story, like, briefly, like, you know, yoga teacher and stuff, and then how you found us. I think that's an interesting story.
Okay.
And then from there, we just jump into your experience here, and then whatever you want to share.
Okay. So I've been a yoga teacher for the last 20 years, and for the last 10 years, I've been taking care of my parents, and both of them have died in the last 5 years. And after my dad died, I started connecting with plant medicine. I was in a really dark place after Dad died, and I met Huachuma and ayahuasca with a group that we drink plant medicine together. And as a result of that, I decided to do a dieta with Huachuma for 30 days. And in the first week, Huachuma looked at me and said, "This is a waste of time. You're not going to get anything out of this." And told me to go on Amazon and type in Huachuma. And you popped up, and he said, "That's your teacher." And so at the time, my mom was still alive, and I was still taking care of her, and I couldn't commit to coming. But I told Huachuma then that as soon as I was free, that I would come down here. And Mom, Dad died last June. I closed my yoga studio in August and came here in November.
So the medicine told you, go look for Huachuma on Amazon, and whichever first book.
Just no, whatever. It just didn't even, there was no rules. It was go to Amazon, type in Huachuma, your book, your first book, and I think it was Cactus of Sanity. That was what, your third book?
Third.
Yeah, and popped up. And he goes, "That's Huachuma." And at the time I was hearing, well, I still hear Huachuma has a voice for me, and said, "That's your teacher. Go find Sergey." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're going to go to Peru, you're going to find Sergey, and that's your teacher. And then what you do with that from then on is up to you." And so when I came in November, it was for a very short period of time, but it was enough for me and you to sit down and say, "I'm coming back. Do I come back now?" And you're like, "Nope, I'm closing in February, so come back," because I told you I wanted to stay at least 3 months. And so when you reopened March 4th, March 6th, I think is the first time we drank, I committed to 3 months. And
you never left since.
And it's been 8 months. It's been 8 months. And so when I came here, I was completely addicted to nicotine. And I was using that to push everything I didn't want to deal with away. And within the first 2 weeks, I think it was, Huachuma said, "You're done." And so I poured out all of my tobacco. I was at the balcony, and I poured out all my tobacco and just bawled for an hour. And it was not just like me crying and releasing. It was like me crying and wailing, and just all of this different time periods, different ages of my life came through, and there was so much sadness. And after I did that, that's really when the opportunity for me to heal started, because now I wasn't putting anything in the way of feeling. There was, so much we've been through the last 8 months that I was pushing away that I didn't want to feel. And so the first step was realizing coffee and cigarettes and all these stimulants that I was using were me realizing that I was using those chemicals to push away anything I didn't want to deal with. And then it was 2 weeks later, I think in the first week of April, the first really big set of trauma, of opportunity to heal popped up. And I realized how deep that my healing needed to go for me. And that was the week that I shaved. I came in and I had a big beard and I had long hair and I was hiding behind my hair and
the beard.
Yeah, and so you and I on I think the 5th of April decided in the medicine, I was telling you what my experience was, and you go, you need, and I was like, and I need to get rid of all of this. And so me and you and Mia and Alexa and Mercedes all went down to the barber, and I didn't speak any Spanish, and you told her what I wanted, and it was basically everything came off. And it was magic, because now, not only was I not now pushing things I didn't want to deal with, now I wasn't hiding behind anything. There was no hair on my face. There was no hair on my head. And that's where I got the nickname Malkovich, because as I'm sitting there in the chair, as she keeps asking me if I want to keep going. She goes, yeah. And as I saw the hair disappear, I saw John Malkovich become apparent. Like, that's who I became. Was like, okay, so this is John Malkovich.
I will put an interview with John Malkovich.
Yeah. And so then what I remember was walking from the barber to here and just feeling really exposed. It was like just there wasn't anything for me to hide behind, and just feeling that. It's like, okay, so yeah, I was hiding, and it now feels uncomfortable not to hide. And so just feeling that discomfort, and came back, and the group that was here, there were maybe 10 of us, I guess. I think that's when the first
10 guys,
yeah.
No?
Well, I think Marjorie had gotten here, Graham's...
Later.
Well, I think she was there, because I think that's... Because Palpy had just gotten here, literally like the day before. Anyway, so I came in and shared my day, and that was another big step in my healing. It's like, okay, so I'm not hiding behind anything. I'm not pushing anything away. And every, that was after our first month, and, the difference between being here a week and being here a month is exponential. And the difference between being here a month and 3 months is exponential. And after I shaved, I committed to another 3 months, because I told you I was coming for 3 months and I could be here for another 3 months. And that was when I committed to another 3 months. And now I'm going to be down here for 6 months. And that level of commitment was also a level deeper in the medicine. Like, after that, I was more committed to my healing than I was before, and every, quitting smoking, cutting my hair, stopping hiding. It's just different levels of commitment to healing in the medicine. And then committing for another 3 months just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper into my memories of trauma. Watching, I was stuck on a memory from 3 years old. And I couldn't figure out why I was holding on to that memory. And it was soon after that, I realized I'd watched my mother get raped. And I didn't know that I was holding on to that memory. I've had memories of being in the womb. I've had the experience of my own birth. And And, you know, all of these things, all of these levels of stuff that I was holding on to, just allowing myself to sit with it in the medicine, feel whatever it is that I'm feeling, and then allowing myself to let it go. And after, you know, all of these things come up, and the list of trauma that I was holding on to
just kept piling up.
And it every time I leaned in, is what I call it, is leaning into my experience, my memories, feeling and not being afraid to feel what I was holding on to, recognizing what that message was trying to tell me, and then being able to let it go. And then being able to sit with the medicine the next time and leaning into and trying to feel those memories, and the trauma's not there. You know, that energy behind that, me holding on to that trauma, I had released. And so that energy that I was using to hold on to that trauma, I can now use for more healing, for being more myself, you know? And then I guess we were thinking about leaving in September. No, in August, because we'd done the despacho, right?
Despacho was closed
in August, and so we were definitely staying for that. And I realized that my addiction wasn't gone. That even though I wasn't smoking cigarettes, I was still smoking mapacho, and even though I was not inhaling it, I was still in that habit of bringing smoke in, right? And about that time, I think maybe it was April, but anyway, so what I realized was, going back into the womb, I had the experience of my mom smoking, and so my mom smoked while she was pregnant with me, and so that addiction to nicotine was how I was made, in nicotine. And so I've always felt sort of incomplete without that stimulation.
Without air.
Yeah.
Because it came with the air.
Yeah.
You begin breathing air with the smoke from your mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like one thing for you.
Yeah.
As a fetus.
Yeah. 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 And I remember, like, so I remember there's so many things that came up, but I just remember, like, okay, so in August, I was like, I'm not done yet, right? I'm still hanging on to this addiction. I had started smoking roll-up cigarettes again, and after a couple of weeks of that, I was like, this is not who I am. This is not what I want. And so I talked to you and Rasu that day, and I was like, I'm still smoking. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know where I picked it up again, but I'm not done. And so Mersu and I went and talked to the immigration lawyer to establish what our status was, because I didn't want to stay longer than I could and not be able to come back. So I went to the immigration lawyer, and because of Peru's laissez-faire attitude towards people staying past their permits, past their visas, they came up with an amnesty program, which we qualified for, and we could stay until this weekend, October 28th, October 31st. So I committed to stay to September and then October, and that's really when so much of this healing for me started happening. I mean, the first 3 months were something, the next second month, and then once I committed to stay 2 more months, it was every ceremony. The change between one ceremony and another was exponential. And that's when I realized that this rage that I'm holding on to was, I went back and I had the experience of being born. And I remember not being angry. I remember pain. I remember fear. I remember not being able to control my body. Like, I had that experience. And then shortly after that, it was like somebody's hand came down and hit me on the back. And I felt rage. Like complete, total, unfiltered rage.
Just being disturbed
Yeah.
out of your womb.
And I realized that I was annoyed that I had been born. Like I was resisting being incarnate. Like, what did you call it? Resisting existence.
Resisting existence.
Right. And so that's what I discovered, that I've lived 62 years as resisting existence.
That's deep stuff. Would you like to do some rapé now? Just to wake up a little bit?
Yeah.
This is the earliest interview I have ever done, man. I'm still like dreaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me bring. What would you like? Perica? Or?
Perica or
Jaguar?
Jaguar or White Rose if you want.
Oh, I don't have it. Okay. And then Jaguar and Perica if you want.
Beautiful.
Just to wake up a little bit here.
Do you have your Caribe?
Yeah, got it. I'm carrying it now in my back.
Ah, cool.
Because so it's like, you know,
Didn't get lost.
you know, and then you have to clean it up all the time. So we'll do that. So yeah, keep sharing. This is deep stuff. I really want to
So
share it with people. So
one of the
they understand
things,
how deep it can go.
yeah, one of the things that is interesting that we do here is our primary practice is Huachuma. And then some of us have problems sleeping, some of us have problems visualizing, and so we use plants to augment what we're doing here. So we use Balding Sauna to help us use our dreams to create change. We use coca to support writing in the medicine or staying in the medicine. We use cacao in ceremony to support more heart opening. We're using rapé in the same way, where it's not for me like, okay, it's tobacco and I'm going to use tobacco. We use rapé in ceremony. So one of the things, and I think I've told you this, was, you know, when we come back from ceremony, we have rapé with you. And it's a way for us to connect to a different plant, but it's also a way for us to connect with you and ground back into before we close ceremony. And so that's a big difference for me. Like, I've been to ayahuasca ceremonies and everybody's using rapé and they're smoking mapacho and they're just kind of randomly doing these things. And in here, it's part of the ceremony. It's part of the process. There's no, we just do things willy-nilly. It's part of the process, you know?
Yeah, it's all,
right?
Exactly. Well, let's do this part now.
I remember the first time we were in ceremony, and Huachuma said, "You need to give people Jaguar rapé." and you came, and it was the first time that you served me rapé. And you don't serve a lot of rapé, but the way you blow it is like a hurricane, which was different than what I've had it before. And it literally, you blew Jaguar energy all the way in, down to the bottoms of my feet. And I looked at you and I go, well, aren't you going to do the other side? And you go, well, do you feel incomplete? In this experience, do you feel incomplete? And I sat with it and I'm like, no, I'm complete in this experience. And that was when you first started to teach me how to rely on my own experience rather than everybody in ceremony, well, we've got to do both sides because you keep balance. And so I just took that at face value. We smoke mapacho like this because that's the way it's always been done. And so that was the first time where you began to teach me, use your own experience, you know, and if you're called to rapé and you do one side or the other side and you feel complete, just because everybody tells you that you need to be balanced, if you feel complete, that's your experience, go with that.
That's important.
And it is important. That's like, it's like
very important.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Trust your experience.
Yeah, and it helped me lean into Huachuma more and trust my experience with what Huachuma was trying to tell me and learn to develop my own vision for myself, independent of what everybody else has told me to do. It developed my own sense of myself in the medicine based on my experience, not what your experience is or somebody else's experience. And so that has allowed me to tap into deeply, deeply my own memories and my own experience and to trust my own experience in the medicine. And it's taken for me a lot of trust to go as deeply as I have. To realize what I've been holding on to is literally since my first breath. That anger and the rage that I've been holding on to, and then learning where that came from. Like with Juan, especially the way that we use ayahuasca in complement to Huachuma. We do one ceremony of ayahuasca with Juan. Juan's beautiful, great space. You're in the medicine with us. And my experience and my relationship with ayahuasca is very close, like Huachuma. And for the first 5 or 6 ceremonies, it was nice and easy and light and beautiful and a lot of love and forgiveness. And then when I was ready, it was time for me to process that rage. And I trusted myself enough and Juan enough and you enough and the medicine enough to let go in the medicine and allow all of this rage to come out and allow Juan to help me release it in the medicine, and have the experience of trusting myself enough to feel the rage, trusting myself enough to let go of that rage, and then beginning to understand that it didn't come from me. Like, I remember the experience of being born and being hurt and being afraid, but not angry. And I wasn't rageful. Like, so when I was brought into the world, Huachuma showed me that experience of how I felt and what my experience was. And then the hand that came down and transferred that rage was, you know, when I was ready to hear that and when I was ready to experience that and let it go, then with Juan and the cocoa readings, Juan could say, okay, yeah, this rage that you're carrying was transferred to you for the purpose of you releasing it. Like, there was 2 people. There's a female and a male. And I've had the experience of the person that energy came from. And being able to go, okay, this is literally my destiny. Like, it's almost a contract that I had before I was born, that I was going to be born And I was going to take this familial rage. It wasn't doctors, it wasn't nurses, it was my family. And I took the contract to transmute this rage into medicine. And I remember the first time I was in the medicine and Huachuma showed me the rage. And I was literally went up by myself to the top of the hill and was just screaming, absolutely screaming. And I dissolved into the medicine and I felt this rage. And I looked at Huachuma and I said, can you see this? This is frightening. What is this? And he goes, I've seen it the whole time. We've been working on it the whole time. Your contract is complete. You brought me this. And we're healing it. Go have fun. Go have fun. You know, the hard part's over. This rage is here. We're working on it. Ayahuasca, Huachuma, Wapacho. Go have fun. And I don't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that.
How to have fun?
Because a part of me was still absolutely not buying into being incarnate. And so the next part of my healing was going back to my infant self and continually, like ceremony after ceremony after ceremony. And I mean, and we've got videos of me where I'm just rocking with this energy and I'm crying and I'm angry and I'm going back to this, and every single time a little bit more of that anger, a little bit more of that fear starts to be transmuted to the point where part of me just naturally goes back to that place in the medicine, and whatever we need to So whatever we need to process, we process. Until yesterday, for the first time, I was grateful for Pachamama allowing me the use of this body. And for the first time in my life, I was completely grateful
Being alive.
to be alive. And there's not a part of me at any age, in the womb, at birth, 1.5, 4, all of the memories that I have, that I've gone back and revisited, none of the parts of me that are rageful are rageful anymore. None of the parts of me that were angry are angry anymore. None of the parts of me that were resisting existence exist anymore. And for the first time, I was happy being alive with no resistance to existence. And I don't know this feeling. And it's magic. And it's light.
The joy of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just so many things that I needed to feel. And
in order to get to that point.
And release and feel and release, and memories that I'd hold on to, and energy that I was holding on to, and anger and resistance. Ceremony by ceremony, little bit by little bit, layer by layer, experience it and release it. Being blissful in the medicine, being happy in the medicine, and dissolving in the medicine, and then having a part of me that wanted to pull me out of that happiness, and realizing, okay, so this part of me that wants to pull me out of my happiness, that's my teacher for today. And so I would spend the day, tell me what it is. What is it what do you want me to know? What is it I'm feeling? What is it that I'm still holding on to? And understanding that and letting it go. And then the next day, being able to spend, next ceremony, to be able to spend more time connected to everything and being part of everything. And then little bit by little bit, those parts of me that are trying to pull me out of the medicine, pull me out of this experience, gets less strong, they get less insistent, and they get more healed. It's like yesterday, I had a really strong resistance to the medicine. And one of the things that you've taught me is what is my experience today in this moment? Am I safe? Am I happy? Am I angry? Anything that I can feel, what am I feeling in this moment? That's my experience, and that's who I am. None of the rest of it is real. It's an echo. None of it is real. This is my experience in the present moment. And if that experience, whatever it is that's trying to pull me out of the medicine, becomes my experience in the present moment, then that's my teacher. But if it's not my experience in the present moment, I don't put energy in it. And I've learned how to do that. Where I think there was one day in the field, and I was just consumed by anger and fear. And I was unsettled, and I was walking around, and I was agitated. And at the end, you asked me, right before we were going home, you go, how you doing? I go, I'm struggling. And you asked me why, and I told you, and you said, how do you feel now? Do you feel safe? Yep. Are you happy? Do you feel loved? Are you supported? Yep. So it's not real. Done. And that was it. It was just like I had gotten stuck in my own head. I'd gotten stuck in my own little perspective, and you were like, it's not your experience right now. Yeah. How you doing?
It's important to remember. By the way, do you want me to include the videos I was taking of you in the river when you were like in the fetus position?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I had this too.
The one where Golis protected me from Juanito, where I'm laying in the grass up past where they built that fence after a while, right? And I'm just sitting there twitching in the medicine. That was the first day I let go, right? And that was the first day where instead of all of these things that were trying to pull me out of the medicine, like I'm too cold, it's raining, I need to pee, I need to drink water, I just didn't listen to them, and I stayed in the medicine. And that's really when I started connecting with my experience in the medicine and all of these other distractions. I was able to let go. So that was the first video you had. And then there's another video, I think, of me in the fetal position, just rocking back and forth. And that's, that I was in that space so many times, and I needed to be that me connecting to my just born self, which was resistant to the rage, to air, to walking, to after having that memory, that rage transferred to me, my little guy was having none of it. Like, first of all, I've got to breathe by myself. Second of all, I have access to everything. And I had the experience of me being aware of what I have a connection to and it being too much. And so going back with my new experience and being with this newly born self and taking all of the objections. Okay, you're right. It's a struggle breathing air. Yes, it's a struggle that I'm not connected to nicotine. Yes, it's a struggle that people touch me and give me their rage. Yes, it's a struggle that I'm connected to everything and not understanding it and not being able to process it, and then just going back and processing, helping myself at that age process all the stuff that I was holding on to and being able to release it, and going back to my infant self over and over and over again until there's not anything left. I mean, even memories like going back and experiencing my circumcision, which is horrible.
Oh, at 8 days you had it?
Yeah.
Man, I had it at 13 years.
Did you? Oh, I can't even.
That was the most
There's no most painful
awful experience of my life.
Why did they wait so long?
Because we moved to Israel.
Oh, so in the Ukraine,
No.
it didn't matter whether you were circumcised or not. But in Israel, being a Jew, you had to be circumcised.
Yeah, we were brainwashed. We were brainwashed by the rabbis, and they said, like, you have to do it. To my parents, like, if you don't do it, he'll be bullied in the army, and he will be miserable because, people will see that it's different, and, so they said, okay, we'll do it because it will be good for him.
Yeah.
And that's, it was a big trauma, like, not just then, but also later because I felt like they robbed me of my sexual pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was at 13.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
You know?
It was horrible enough at 8 days and going through that memory, and that was like being barely conscious. Like my consciousness was barely formed at that time. But at you at 13, I mean,
13, man, I already had erections. You know, it's like 13. You're getting into that. You know, what's it? Teenage.
Yeah.
You know, you already. You know, that was awful to walk a month with a skirt in the house, just holding the skirt like this, because nothing could touch it.
Because it would took a month.
Just to
heal.
Well, just to reasonably to heal. It was painful for longer, but it was horrible. But I had to go with a skirt, walk with a skirt, so nothing touches it. It was a mess, man. I shared the story in my second book, The Mescaline Confession.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, connecting that to religion and all that stuff, you know, how, you know, the brainwashing and all this, you know, God union and all that stuff, that none of it's real, you know. And I had my experience to share with people, you know, to support my worldview with actual experience, you know. So it's not just I'm saying things, you know, it's just, that's what happened, you know, so I understand. It's like a touchy subject, you know.
For me, it's interesting because there's a lot of memories that I'm connected to myself that now I have almost perfect recall of all my memories. And I don't understand necessarily why I need to do that, or at least I didn't at first, but like I needed to go through the trauma of my circumcision to connect to another memory that got me to another memory where I know now where the rage came from. And so even though those memories aren't pleasant, right, going through the memory of my birth, going through the memory of my circumcision, got me to let go of that enough to get to this memory, which is where my healing needed to happen. And so trying, you know, if I had resisted, I don't want to feel my circumcision. Nobody wants to go back and remember their circumcision. But I let myself do that. I opened myself and trusted Huachuma enough, and it was a necessary step for me to get to where I needed to go deeper to get more healing. And then once I realized where this rage came from and who the person was, and I have their memories, like that part of the implant was, now I have their memories. And so to be able to have those memories, feel those memories, and release those memories so I don't have to trust them. I mean, I don't have to carry them anymore. So, and that's one of the gifts that Huachuma has given me is, you know, I have really good, not imagination, but I have really good recall of my memories, so when I get other memories, in, you know, ancestral memories or connection memories, I know who I am. I know these are my memories, and if I can't remember it in my own memory bank, then they're not mine, right? If it's somebody else in the medicine, if it's one of my relatives, then I can be very confident who I am, what my experience is, and allow myself to let go of what's not mine, and recognizing, okay, yeah, I'm carrying this. I'm carrying this energy, and I've chosen to carry this energy, and knowing who I am and electing, okay, I'm going to not carry this. I've transmuted it in Huachuma, I've transmuted it in ayahuasca, and I'm really ready to let this go, and having that experience of letting those memories go, and then having the experience of the next ceremony of being afraid that I'm still carrying those memories, and then relaxing into the medicine and searching for those memories and realizing that they're not there anymore, that I'm not putting energy into them and I'm not carrying them anymore. That's magic. Mm-hmm.
You know, just yesterday with Papa we did the interview, and I was telling him how when I wrote my Cactus of Sanity, I was thinking there was a dilemma, like what to call the cactus, because I could call it many names, and all of them are true.
Yeah.
So one of them, you can say Huachuma is a cactus of memory.
Yeah.
one of many names, you know. It just makes you remember and understand. That's the most important quality of the medicine, you know. It's like there's a misconception of this medicine. It's like more like people think it's more like a visual side of it that is important, but that's not important at all. It's the inner work that is important. It's what you remember and how much you understand yourself throughout your life. That's what brings healing. When you understand yourself, you heal yourself, you let things go, and then you just liberate yourself. It's a cactus of liberation. You can call it that too. Like literally. So memory is an important aspect of that, of that work, to remember your life.
Well, so I've worked with a woman who is connected to the Akashic record, which I might understand, I might not understand. But what I've found in Huachuma is that it's like the Huachuma record. Like there's nothing.
That's something I can rely on.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing that I need to access that I cannot access with Huachuma.
Yeah, you can.
And even now, it's like I'm
into your birth,
just starting.
Or pre-birth.
Yeah.
Like your memory in the womb.
I can go literally now in the medicine. I can go into the womb.
That is crazy.
And have the experience of being in the womb. You know, what.
How did it feel to be in the womb?
Yeah, and feeling like even having the experience of having nicotine come into, having the experience of having food coming into. And just knowing that and having that experience, like I know what it was like. I don't really have any thoughts or necessarily any feelings, but I have a semblance of a vision. I have a semblance of my experience of the womb, you know, and so wherever I've needed to go to heal for whatever reason, I have access to. That memory, that experience, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, you know, little things here that you wouldn't think about. I mean, how many people do you know are fucked off about being born? Like, I mean, come on. That's like...
You were the first one, I think.
Yeah, it's like you just like realize it's like, okay, so maybe I was mad at mom for this, or maybe I didn't get a bicycle, whatever. You know, the stuff that you think is like trauma, or, you know...
my PlayStation wasn't delivered on time, you know?
Yeah, or, you know, or being spanked, or whatever it is. But, like, being able to go back to, like, this core trauma and be able to go, okay... That's where we're starting from.
But you know, it's understandable, isn't it nice? Like everything comes to you, just kind of floating in your mom's womb, you know, like in a floating tank, and just things come to you, and it's all warm and so cozy and safe. I mean, it's understandable. The birth trauma that we go through, we don't remember that. Our mothers sure remembers, but we don't. This memory is kind of not. It doesn't register it. It's just something you can dig into it through the medicine, but naturally it's not. Like I don't remember that. I remember myself like already being like in a year and a half, like just a baby kind of, you know. Right? But not before that. It's just not there because it's traumatic experience.
Well, so I think it's there, but do you need to access it? Like for me, I needed to go there. I needed to have those memories so that I could
to heal your whole life.
Yeah, it's so I could understand. I could understand why I was mad. I could understand that I was mad, and that
it was necessary for your mission of healing.
Exactly. For me, but if it, for somebody else who had normal birth, whatever it is. But, you know, things, I mean, you and I've laughed a number of times where I was just realizing I'm mad that I have to breathe. It's the stupidest thing on the face of the planet. But I have those feelings. Like, my little birth guy is mad that I have to do the work of breathing. Like, I'm mad that I have to be in the sun. I'm mad that I have to feed myself. I'm mad that I have to walk. Which, that's such a subconscious level that
it's unregistered.
Once it started to register and I could access it. Well, then it was the funniest thing on the planet. I mean, how many people have you ever met? I'm a yoga teacher. I've been breathing and teaching people how to breathe for 20 years.
Yeah, is this
and
funny?
Subconsciously, I've been mad that I have to. It's like, where does that even come from? Where does that even come from?
Oh, this is hilarious,
Yeah. And so, but there was also part of me in yoga where I've had experiences with breathing where I was resistant.
But you didn't know why.
And I didn't know why, and now I do. Holding my breath for an extended period of time puts me into a panic mode, and it's that trauma of...
Connects you to birth.
Yeah, so like I'm in the womb and I don't have to breathe, and then I have the experience of being out of the womb and I have to breathe, and I'm insecure about that process. Like, I have to cough up the stuff that's in my lungs, and I have to get the stuff that's out of my nose, and I have to get the amniotic fluid and stuff off of me, and so part of my healing is going into that deep breath and deep breath retention, and letting myself feel that panic, and at the same time having the experience of, yeah, I've got all the air I need. I'm okay. I'm safe.
Well, maybe we can just focus for the rest of the hour that we have on the actual Huachuma experience, like a part of, deep healing that we discussed now for all that. Just maybe more for people, like about the medicine itself. Like, what is it for you? Like, how you experience Huachuma? What is it for you? What's Huachuma medicine for you?
So the first time I experienced Huachuma was mixing Huachuma powder with water.
That's back in America.
Back in America. And
that's not here, guys, okay?
No, that's not here. But that was my first experience with Huachuma. And what we experienced then was happy and less defenses. And so for me, it was much easier for me to be really happy and really emotional, like feel a deeper sense of love and deeper, a little bit of unhappiness, and being able to cry. And that was the first experience with Huachuma. It was like, here's this medicine that helps me to feel. First
Which
and
is
foremost.
true.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
And then
just on a lighter.
Very light. Very light.
Yeah.
And then I came down here for the first time last November, and the first medicine, the first day that we drank was light medicine, and I drank a half a cup, and we were in the field, which is one of my favorite places. And I immediately just began to feel empowered. Like I've had a half a cup of medicine, I'm in the medicine, and I begin to reclaim my sense of myself. So I grew up not happy existing and looking for validation externally from my parents, from society, from my culture, from my friends.
That's the key right there.
And for the first time, I started to turn the mirrors inward. And instead of trying to get validation from outside, I began to feel validation inside. I wasn't thinking about validation.
Well, you're not aware of that.
I began to feel my own sense of self, independent of everything else. And that was a complete game changer for me.
That's in the first ceremony.
That was in the first ceremony. And the second ceremony I had with you was with Juan, and we had ayahuasca. And there was I had a coca reading with him before, and he's like, there's a lot of stuff with your parents, because both of my parents had just died. And so there's a lot of trauma with your parents' death that you need to let go of. And so in that ceremony, Juan helped me begin to physically release out of my body some of the stuff that I was holding on to with my parents. Then the next day we had another Huachuma, which is unusual because usually we have it on Saturdays, but this is Thursday. And so I had the experience on Friday of encountering Huachuma, a little bit more medicine, and ayahuasca at the same time, and begin to really feel a sense of not only now myself, but a real connection to the plants. Like, this is ayahuasca, and this is her personality, and this is how she complements Huachuma, and this is Huachuma, and this is his personality. And beginning to see a connection to plants, see a connection to Huachuma. And afterwards, that's when you and I sat down, and in my last interview, I was like, I'm coming back. I made a commitment a year and a half ago to Huachuma that I was coming. I came down here, I interviewed you, and had a couple of experiences, and I'm like, this is my medicine. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm coming, this is my healing. And so when I got here in March, there were 10 people, right? All guys.
Yeah, I started from dude party.
Yeah.
10 guys in the house.
And it was, one of the things that people walk into now is people have been here for so long. And so when I came here in March, nobody had taken a month off.
Yeah, we just started the season.
Nobody had, and so everybody was new in the medicine, everybody's
experienced. To connect people, to adjust energies,
And so, Huachuma was connecting me to myself and beginning to get me to connect to this container that you create for us, this really safe container for us to explore ourselves in the medicine. And so Huachuma, at one level, when the first level is be happy, be love, and just connect with that feeling. And I remember the first day I really struggled, where something came up and I was in my head and I was really resisting the medicine, and I came up to you and I was like, I'm really struggling, and you go, I'm going to tell you the secret to life right off the bat in one sentence. Relax and allow yourself to be happy. It's just that simple.
That's it.
And so that's my mantra in the medicine. It's like, okay, my intention is to relax and allow myself to be happy, and if it's not that, then that's my teacher for the day, or I'm connected to my own experience and I'm going to let it go. And so, Huachuma is like, if I want to go at this level, and that's all I want to do, right? I'm just going to go in and knock all the tops off and be happy at this level. Perfect. If you want to go a little bit deeper, the medicine will take you. The medicine will show you anything that you're resisting. That whole idea of relax and allow yourself to be happy, whatever's not that, you'll see. I saw it, right? It's like, okay, that's coming up for me. This is me resisting, relaxing, and being happy. And so in Huachuma, that's the space, Be happy. Be happy. Be bliss. Be who you really are. I mean, happiness, Satchitananda, bliss, ecstasy, that's who we are. That's our natural state.
Yeah, that's how we're born.
And everything else is just a construct that we've sort of accumulated over the years. So in Huachuma, there's a great opportunity to let all that not happy stuff go,
Yeah, coming to the core.
And there's no there've been so many people through the doors in the last 8 months with every kind of beautiful experience, and I've never seen anybody's trauma that with support they couldn't lean into,
and
feel, and let go. We had a beautiful man here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you going to travel already?
We're going to go.
Y'all have fun.
Thank you.
Jason, it was very pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Hi,
Of course.
I'm leaving today. Oh, and I'll see you guys in Atlanta.
Yes, we'll definitely right here.
Such a good people here.
We got the best group, big hearts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'll see you
I got the
tomorrow.
key from the door.
Oh, good. Drink a lot of water.
We got
You know.
If not, we're fine.
No, we're still working. They're just saying goodbye because he's leaving like in an hour.
Okay, guys.
Ciao.
You know, there was a guy here who, his best friend was murdered. And
Who was that?
Alex.
In the army.
No, it was actually one of his best friends got murdered in his apartment, and Alex, he was holding on to, I'm going to murder that guy as soon as I see him. And we sat in sharing one night with him, and we just let him explore every single thing about it that he wanted to, and every single reason that he had, perfectly valid, no resistance to everything he felt perfectly justified. And then once he had been able to lean in and express all of that and feel that, we as a group started to give him other options. And after 2 hours, he's crying, and he's realizing what that rage has done with him, and he's able to get rid of that rage, release that rage, forgive this guy that's murdered his friend, and allow himself to let that go. We've had sexual abuse.
You saved 2 lives.
Yeah, and countless other lives that would have been affected.
Would be affected by that, for sure, of course.
Yeah,
Families,
and
of course.
so there's not really anything that's come up that's insurmountable. Like the medicine, this is how you feel it. And here's a group of people that are here to support you and love you, and we're not going to argue with a single thing that you say. We're gonna accept and receive everything that you feel, and we're going to support it. And if that's all you want to do, fine, hold on to it. Great. If you want to let go of it, we're gonna give you some ideas about some directions you could go, and the medicine is important, the experience is important, and the sharing is equally important. Where you decompress after your day, you're in the medicine, and you let your experience go.
I call it instant integration.
Yeah,
we don't wait until tomorrow.
Yeah,
same day.
Yeah,
in the medicine.
And however long that takes, if we stay up till 10, if we stay up till 2, if we stay up till whatever it is, everybody gets to speak and release and integrate as much as they want.
Got a lot of firewood for you guys.
Yeah, and thank you.
For that purpose. I love cacao for the night. Yeah. Well, sounds good. Anything for closing? Any message for people who watch, who would like to come, who might have some fears of the medicine?
When I came last November, there were 7 or 8 people, and they'd all been here months. And I asked them what their story was, and they said they came down here for a week. Every single person came for a week and drank the medicine, and just having that experience of drinking 3 ceremonies convinced them to stay. And some had been here, like Marsu, I think he'd been here for 6 months, and 5 months, and 7 months, and 4 months, and everybody's story was the same. They committed to the week, and the experience of that week here with you, with everybody else, was so strong that they stayed. And so, if you're fearful, give yourself a week. Come down here like I did in November. Have the experience of drinking the medicine and seeing what it is. If you're fearful, whether you come down here and drink or you stay at home, you're going to be fearful.
Yeah, it's not going away.
It's not going away. So
it's going to be triggered by other things.
Coming here is not going to make you more fearful or less fearful. Sacred Valley is absolutely beautiful. The weather's absolutely beautiful. To me, it's perfect. It's 3,000 meters, 2,900 meters. It's cool at night. It's warm during the day. We're outside in the medicine all day. I mean, what perfect what more perfect place can you be than go and sit and heal by a river?
And enjoy yourself.
You know,
as you heal yourself.
Yeah, it's like there's no cars, there's no traffic, nobody's around. You're just sitting, enjoying the nature, hanging out. Yeah, there's no downside. Even if you say, okay, I'm going on vacation for a week in Peru.
Spiritual vacation.
Yeah, come drink for 3, spend a week here. If you want to go do traveling, do it before, do it afterwards, and see. And at the end of a week, you're going to have a big change.
And there are more change as you continue.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah. And it's, however deep down the rabbit hole you want to go, you can go.
Yeah, and you can stop at any time.
Yeah.
Stop, go home, be happy.
Feel like you've done enough? Fine. So, after 8 months, I feel complete. I feel like for the first chunk of stuff that I needed to get out of the way, I've come down here and I got done what I needed to get done.
Oh, well, I was not here.
Yeah, and now I get to go home and integrate and finish building my retreat center. Just beautiful. Yeah.
Sounds very good.
Yeah,
James.
Sergey, thank you.
That was early interview.
Did you do okay? Did the rapé help?
Yeah, rapé good, cacao, it's all good, Yeah. But it's a bit early.
Yeah. Well, you were up early this morning, so as well.
Busy, It's just full house of people, just things to do. Took kids to school, help nurses. She woke up with headache today, so I had to help, So it's all good. It's all no problem. So your car coming in an hour.
Perfect.
Are you packed?
Yeah.
Good. All good. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, I left a stack of clothes to donate, and so if you want to give it to Yesenia or whoever or whatever, it's just stuff that I've outgrown because I've lost 20 pounds since I've been here. So, but all that stuff that's in there is.
We'll find somebody to feed the folks we work with, the drivers, whatever.
Yeah, but
sounds
anyway,
good. Sounds good, James. Great seeing you. That was amazing.
Yeah. And I'll be here April 1st.
April 1st, for the third round. What will come up there? I think we already worked through the most horrific stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's just all the good stuff ahead.
Yeah, now it's just playing in the medicine.
There is no more hating existence.
No.
And hating breathing.
I can't even imagine, like yesterday, having that experience for the very first time of really enjoying being alive. It was like, it's like how much better could the result be?
It's just deeper.
Yeah.
Deeper of that joy, more encompassing, Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Perfect.